Oh no, I guess it doesn't. For some reason I thought it did. Well, take that back. I'm just a big fat liar. What are you gonna do? How's it going, everybody? It's Mike with This Old Hotrod. I'm in the shop. It's just after Christmas, and we announced that I was going to give away the louvered panels. So I'm in the process of cutting the sheet metal, and then I'm going to go out to the big garage and I'm going to punch these panels. So I just used my shears. I went to the steel company the other day and I picked up 2 full sheets of 18 gauge 4x8 sheets. I have the steel company cut them in half. I also bought some 1-inch square tube for the floor structure in the 34. I cut 20 inches off of this 48-inch sheet, and then I have them marked every 8 inches. So that's going to give me 6 individual panels, which then I'll louver for the giveaway. I'm going to use, so the reason I cut that piece off is because this is a 37-inch shear. Anyways, it fits a 37-inch sheet of metal, cuts up to 16 gauge. Like I said, that's 18 gauge. And I'm going to get these pieces sheared, and then I get them all laid out, and then get these punched. So after the New Year's giveaway, I can get them shipped out to you guys. So hope everybody had a great Christmas and gonna have a good New Year. It's a little cold in the garage this week, but I need to get this done so I can get these things shipped out to whoever's gonna win them. So let's go over to the shear and get these things cut down. All right, here we go. So I really need to get a light over here. Hi, Miss Allison. Hi, Izzy.
Michael, will you still love me if I'm homeless?
Why are you going to be homeless?
I don't know, because I feel like that's what I'm
Shut the damn door. It's cold. What's wrong with you? Raised in a barn? What do you mean you're going to be homeless? You have 2 homes, honey.
Yeah.
And the one we have here is my favorite. I got this is heavy. I got all my pieces cut. My 6 pieces. Like I said, they're 18 gauge. So hopefully when they're louvered, they're not going to ripple too much. If they do, you guys just hammer and dolly them real quick, and they should straighten right out pretty easily. So a square, and I don't see one. Oh, I think they're down at my Louver Press. Go grab my square and get these all laid out so I can do the louvers. And they're going to be rad because I did it. And who doesn't like a louvered panel? You add them to the top of your hood, or your sides of your hood, or put them wherever you want them. You do whatever you want. I need to grab a scribe, and a square. So, I'll be right back. Alright, I got the tools of the trade here. So, these should be 8 inches. So I'm going to get it close. I'm just going to figure a 4-inch center line and scribe that. Got this long straight edge that I'll use. I don't know if I'd be better off with a scribe or not. So this, you mark it on the underside of the panel. So I'm just making a straight line. And the reason for that is it's centered in the panel. And except for that line, that one's not centered. So my louver die has a center line that was laser etched into it, and it's a really nice feature that Tuck added onto the die. It takes out the guesswork, because what I used to do, I'll show you how I used to line up my dies on my hoods. Was I would do, with the louver die being a 3-inch die, I would run my line at 1.5 inches, and then at 3 inch, well, I'd center the ruler at 1.5 inches on my center line, and then I'd measure it at 0 and 3, and then I would run those lines. So then when I did my louvers, I more or less used the outside edges of the louver die, because I didn't have an actual center line like Tuck made on his louvers. So having that center line kind of eliminates making these 3-inch marks. And so on something like this, it's not that big of a deal because they're just small panels. Now I don't know if you'll be able to see that in the video, but I have 0, which is my center line, 1.5 inches this way and 1.5 inches this way. So that's my louver layout. And then I could take it one step further. So depending on where I'm going to start my louvers will determine the beginning of the edge, the beginning of the louver, and the final edge of this louver. So, and what I mean by that is, I'll pull out these ones that I had done for my, just kind of my trial runs when I got the die. These are 16 gauge panels, and you can see my center line on these got Sharpie. There's 11 louvers on this one. I left it the same size to give you guys a little bit extra room on the ends, and hoping to minimize the amount of warpage, because depending on the thickness of the metal, you get a lot of cupping behind the last louver. Trying to minimize that by moving the first and the last louver inbound on the sheet. I started, I think it's like 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches. Yeah, 1.5 inches. So 1.5 inches from the end. So I'll probably go 2 inches just because I know I'm only going to run 10 louvers instead of 11 louvers. So I'll do 2 inches here, and that's going to be my start line. It's hard to see the scribe. So that's the 2-inch mark right here. I'll do it with a Sharpie just so you guys can see it. It's a pretty straightforward process. It's just measuring and math. It's like I said, it's nothing, it's not rocket science. So that's going to be my starting line. And then I'll do that on each panel. I'll run 2 inches in. So I'll just start it at 8 and I'll go down to 6. I don't want to start it on that end because that's the end that I used my shear. Just want to start with a nice straight edge. So I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to ship everything. So depending on my work schedule and how long the shipping tube is for the poster. I may end up shipping things in separate boxes. I don't know yet. I'll figure that out. So they may not go out right after the new year. I'm hoping it'll be, you know, within the week following the video. I'm sure you guys understand. I run a small business, and you know, like everybody else, you leave early and you get home late most times. So find myself out in the garage after hours, like most of us. And I can't always make it to the post office right away. So, that being said, if it's a few days after the new year, and if you haven't received them yet, then that's why. So, I'm gonna try to figure out the best way to ship them. Instead, maybe some boxes that'll fit the poster, the t-shirt, the stickers, and these panels. I don't know yet. But who really cares at the end of the day, because you're getting it for free anyways. You can wait a week, you know? That's my panels. They're all laid out. Let's get to work. Woo! So I think at this point most people have seen my Louver Press. It's quite majestic. Let's say, that's a good term. I'm gonna pull it over and then get my camera set up. I'm gonna pull this beast over so you guys can see how big this thing is, and it probably weighs, it's at least a ton. It's over 6 feet tall, and the thing is just girthy. Another good word. I should call it Big Gertha. You can't put it, because it'll damage pretty much anything I think it hits. I don't know if I can even get it by. Oh yeah. It is heavy. There she is, in all her glory. So I'm 5'9", 5'9 and a half. This thing is well over 6 feet tall. It has a plate going up the outside, but each one of these plates are 1 inch thick. As you can see here, that's an inch, that's an inch. I think that's a 4-inch box tube that goes up. Also, this is also an inch plate. You can see the 4-inch box that originally it was built out of. From what I was told, he ended up putting on these 1-inch plates after the fact because the whole thing was flexing. You see my dies here. I used a power pack, a Porta Power. Geez, look at that. This panel hasn't been out here that long and it's already rusting. You can see here where it cups because it's just pulling the metal. It's a little cardboard cutout that the kid from a couple towns over came over with. This was for his project. That's the kid who I gave the Doodlebug hood to, because he needed one and he said he was interested in it, so I gave it to him. Because that's just what you do. Hey, honey, you doing good? Yeah. Yes. I have my starting point. Can you see me? Yeah, you can see me. I'll move you closer in a second. I'll move you closer now. What the hell? This here, that's the spot. So what I do is take my starting point, which is 2 inches back, which is right there. as you can see, the Sharpie. Woo! Where's Allie when you need her? Vanna White. So what I do is, I want the front edge of my louver to start at this line here. The back edge of this. So what I do is I set my sheet down. Oh, you know what? I shut my air compressor off. Alright, so Izzy's gonna go in the house. Come on. Alright, so the air compressor is building power, building pressure. Let me get you all set up here. So, as I was saying before, on the leading edge of the clamshell on the louver itself, on the die, you have this block. And this block presses down and flattens the metal between each louver. So what I want to do is I want to start my first louver at the front edge of the clamshell, and I want it to be at that line, which is at the front edge of this block. So I'm going to get, it would help if I turn the air on. Anyways, so let's get that situated. I want to go down just enough so the louver die touches and it's just barely squeezing it. So then I can fine tune exactly where I want it to go. Obviously the first one's crucial, so you get it, because if you're off on the first one, you'll be even more off as you go. Add a little more pressure to it. It's not cutting it yet, which is what I want. This is the most critical part. Well, apparently I didn't charge my camera because it just died. So as I was saying, I think to nobody but myself, what I did was I set my square edge up on the front edge of my louver die. I got it pressed up against it, and then I lined up this edge of the straight edge with my center mark. And I'm good to go here. It's nice and square. The metal is square in the louver die and the press. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push on this and push on this edge here and punch this first louver. You can hear it kind of bottom out. That's when you know it's done. And then I push on the release and it brings it up. And that's what it looks like from the bottom. And that's what it looks like from the top. I got 9 more to go on this panel, and then 5 panels to do after that. So I'm gonna get to work on this and see you guys when I'm done. All right, so I'm gonna punch this panel real quick. And then hopefully get through these other ones fairly quick, and then I'll be able to get up into the top garage where it's warm. So I'm just lining up my center line now. What you do is you want to take this first louver and then you hook it on the back of the louver die. It kind of finds its home like that. And as long as you're set up on your center line, you should be good to go. Push your foot down and it does the rest. You can hear it kind of. I have the louver die set with this stock so that the height of the louver is about a ½ inch. And honestly, I think that's about the maximum. Any more than that, you're really you're asking the metal to move a lot. And you're really gonna distort the metal So you may need to do just a little bit of hammer and dolly work on these. But you're probably going to have to anyways after you weld them. Or if you weld them, or if you rivet them, you won't need to. But you may get a little bit of distortion, as you guys know. So as you can see, it really doesn't take all that long to do it. I'm going to check this one to make sure I'm still on point with my straight edge. Yep, I'm good. It's really all just about the layout and taking your time. If you're off, especially early on in the process, if you're off on one louver, it's just going to throw the whole panel off. There's a little bit of air. You gotta bleed that towel pack every now and then. So what do we got? 2, 4, 6, 8. This is number 10 right here. And that's it. You see it's got a little bit of a crown to it from it stretching the metal. So that's the first louvered giveaway panel, a giveaway louvered panel, a louvered giveaway panel, louvered panel for the giveaway. However you want to say it, that's the first panel. All right, guys, I got 5 more of these to do. And then it's time to get into the garage and get some things ready to go for the coupe. Number 2. The other end, and it's easier to see my starting point. Alright, so it's got some tension on it. I'll check my edge. Yeah, perfect. Alright, panel number 2. So this right here is what each person's going to get. And I think for me, if it were me and I was winning this, I'd be pretty pumped. I think that's a pretty good gift. Sorry, I had my hands in the way again. Not used to filming when I'm doing this. All right. And that would be panel number 4. See the nice and straight. down the panel. So depending on how you have them, like I said, these would be nice on the hood side. All right, 2 left, and then I can go in the house and warm up, because it is cold out here. And I don't like the cold. All right, well, that's the last louver. Get all 6 panels punched. This is my stack of louvered panels. And I dropped my phone. So that's it. Well, there we go. That was upside down. All right, so those are my panels. Got them all louvered. Apologize for the crazy phone action. I'm gonna get my power pack bled. And then get it disconnected. Get the garage shut down for the night. I need to eat some dinner. Yep. There's the 30 coupe, looking good. I use this little no parking sign I got a magnet on the back of my phone in order to just record what I was doing. I'm gonna do a walk around video of this at some point soon. An 8BA, reprop 32 shell, guide headlights 682Js.